G'day guys, something a little different for you today. Today we're going to be talking about Wrath of the Lich King. It's something that I've been playing a little bit more of in sort of these TBC downtimes. I've been enjoying it a lot and I'm learning a lot as well. Today I wanted to talk about two professions in particular that are hugely prevalent in Wrath of the Lich King. They are bis for DKs, rogues, certain paladin specs, certain shaman specs, you name it. You will be running these two professions if you're looking to min-max your professions to provide you with the greatest amount of performance. I would say, thinking off the top of my head, almost 100% of all classes and all specs will be running one of these professions, and a very, very large majority of you would be looking to run both of these. And the two professions I'm referring to are Jewelcrafting and engineering. They are just leaps and bounds ahead of what the other professions provide you in terms of a raid performance and a overall benefit to your damage or your healing. They are super OP, and I suppose the next question is what makes them so strong, and why would I want to be running them in my raids? The Jewelcrafting, it's very, very simple. The benefit that it provides you is just more stats. The good thing about Jewelcrafting and Wrath and why you'd be wanting to run it is you can specifically choose what stat you'd like to increase. So it's applicable to all classes, all specs in that regard. These are just three examples of the gems that are available, just to give you an idea of, a yellow gem, a red gem, a blue gem. And obviously I put the resilience one in there because it's also applicable to PvP environments as well. You can see 16 strength, so your warriors, this is great for you. You can see the huge difference. These are the blue gems that we'll have access to in phase 1 of Wrath Classic, which I'm presuming we're going to get. All the signs are pointing towards that. But 16 strength, you can get 3 of these jeweler's gems if you're a jewel crafter, and they provide you with 34 strength. So really early on in the phase, this is a huge, huge jump in your stats, especially when we're all in sort of pre-raid gear, Nax gear. This is a massive jump. One thing that might happen is the gems on the right are tuned for a 3.3.5 endgame Wrath of Lich King client, I guess. And these may not be the gems that we get on release. They were slightly less in the equivalent phase 1. I believe the strength gem, for example, was 27 strength and not 34. That was because they only had access to these rare gems. And once the epic gems came in, I believe it went to 20 strength, and then they boosted up the jewel crafting gems to be a little bit more in line to keep the benefit of going jewel crafting. So they increased it proportionally up to 34 strength. Who knows what they'll decide to do? Very, very safe to assume we'll get a 3.3.5 version of Wrath of the Lich King, just like we got a 2.4.3 version of TBC. But there's no saying what they'll decide to do. Obviously, we have the precedent with drums. If there's enough controversy, if it's too strong, then they very well may change it to be the 27 strength gem, for example, that we get on release, and they will boost up the epic gems once we have access to those. But again, who knows? Only time will tell. But again, jewel crafting is still, even if that is the case, it is still one of the best professions, and profession you would definitely want to be running if you're looking to increase your raid performance. And the other one is engineering. Engineering is just always the best for damage, for utility. It's been the same since Vanilla Classic, the same in TBC, and it's no different in Wrath. If anything, in Wrath, it gets even stronger. Just by far the best. So the hyperspeed accelerators, these are a glove enchant. They replace obviously your usual enchant. I don't know if you'd call them like an augment or an attachment, but basically it would replace any kind of enchanting thing you'd want to put on there. Haste rating by 340, got really 10% for 12 seconds on a 1 minute cooldown, which is just insane. Great for, your warriors, your rogues, great for casters as well. There's no need to worry about, oh, I'm physical or I'm a caster. It applies to both. Good thing about that is obviously the cooldown and the length of it, but also the fact that it synergizes and connects so well with a lot of your cooldowns and on-use trinkets. Nitro boosts, basically the same as nitro boosts that we get now in TBC and we had in Original Classic, but this time don't replace the boots that you're wearing. You attach these, or you enchant your boots with this instead, and so it greatly increases your run speed. You're just zooming around. Super great for avoiding mechanics, or speed running if you're into that kind of thing, and really good for tanks, especially, I would say. Being able to quickly grab a couple of mobs and pull at line of sight. Really, really useful utility. And for people who don't particularly benefit a lot from haste, I think hunters go the hyperspeed early, but they go the hand-mounted pyro rocket later on, I think I heard. But this is just a really good damage booster. You don't have to target the pyro rocket. It's something that just, if you're targeting the boss, you press the keybind, it will just automatically aim towards the boss. And it's on a 45-second cooldown. So again, just syncs up really nicely with cooldowns. Really good for PvP as well. For rogues, for example, I wouldn't be running the hyperspeed accelerators in PvP. I would look to run hand-mounted pyro rockets, would synergize really well with your shadow dance. But again, PvPers can also, especially casters, use that haste hyperspeed accelerator as well. Really good for keeping people in combat, for a long-range attack. Just amazing. So I guess, how does this apply to yourselves? How does this apply to TBC and in the situation we are now? Something that I'm doing, and I thought I would share, is I've sort of got a pretty good idea of maybe 3 characters that I want to main. None of them have Jewelcrafting at the moment, so I'm getting 3 lots of materials banked up, ready to go when Wrath Classic hits. Basically, so I don't take that huge financial hit that I undoubtedly would have if I do wait. I think it's a wise decision. To be honest, you could do the Jewelcrafting now. Let's say, Sunwell's coming up, so we have access to a lot of the hardcoreium recipes. The neck and the ring are really, really strong. You can think, well, I know I'm going to go Jewelcrafting for Wrath. Why don't I level it up now? A lot of the mats will be a lot cheaper now. And I can get access to the hardcoreium pieces. And then once Wrath hits, I'm already done all the hard yards. I feel like, especially early on in expansion releases, mats tend to go really, really expensive. Everyone's leveling their professions as quickly as possible. They don't care how much they spend. They want to make sure that when they get into Nax for the first time, that they're ready to go. And they will pay a premium for that, especially for a lot of those Jewelcrafting gems, your huge emeralds, your blue sapphires. Now, I know you can prospect, I think it's Saronite. You can get some of those gems, but I don't imagine too many people will be prospecting a lot of the Saronite, especially in the early stages, because they will be using it to level up. Excuse me. Like they'll be using a lot of the Saronite to level up the professions, and not necessarily. I just feel like the Saronites shuffle, if you will. There just won't be that much Saronite going around for prospecting. It'll be definitely being used to level blacksmithing, to level engineering, and that kind of thing. So if you can grab a lot of that now, you could save yourself a lot of gold ahead of time once people realize how strong engineering and Jewelcrafting is. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found it useful. If you do like this kind of content, if you would like me to put out a little bit more Wrath of the Lich King content as well, do let me know in the comment section. Tell me you found it useful. Ask any questions you might have about professions in Wrath. There are a lot of changes to certain professions, so if you've got any questions, do ask down below and I'll definitely get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't know, this channel, for every new subscriber I donate to charity. So for every new sub that I get, I donate $1, and that all goes to a charity. At the end of the month, I tally it up and I donate on behalf of all you guys. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.